Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we are going to be looking at my new series, Building a Chaos Dwarf Army. But before we start, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the tallyman's bell so you don't miss an update. Building a Chaos Dwarf Army will be in the same vein as my previous Building a Realms of Chaos Army series, in that for the most part it will be predominantly miniatures and lore to assist in understanding. This will also allow me to flesh out what I can, where previously there may have been confusion. The Chaos Dwarfs have languished in limbo for decades, with little to no support and threadbare information accompanying few miniatures. It is in this direction that I wish to shed light, or should I say, darkness. Let us begin. The following was attributed to a dwarf scholar and sums the Chaos Dwarfs up quite nicely, albeit from a somewhat biased viewpoint. They wish to make the world a place of smoky darkness, where hope and cheer are crimes punishable by immediate slavery and slow torture. Theirs is an endless greed that neither time nor wealth can ever abate. They committed blasphemy by turning away from the ancestor gods and practicing magic. Magic, I tell you. They are our greatest shame, and they will be dealt with in time. It is this mysterious, dark nature that I will endeavour to tap into whilst building this host. Chaos Dwarf miniatures are for the most part quite difficult to come by. As a race that has been left unsupported for so long, many of the older miniatures are pricey. This is where I plan to use as many different manufacturers' proxy models as I can to flesh out the ranks. There are several very good companies that produce some really quite nice Chaos Dwarfs, hobgoblins, and plethora of slaves and mutants that would be perfect for the army. I plan on using Citadel miniatures from the 80s and 90s for many of the specialist units, such as bazookas, mortars, and the like. Then mix Citadel miniatures into other manufacturers' miniatures for a nice mix throughout the units. Hopefully a mix of sculpted styles throughout the units will look uniform once they have been painted in a strong theme and base the same. So what's the plan, I hear you ask? How does one go about deciding what to get for an army that hasn't had an army book in 20 years? Easy. My modus operandi is to simply collect what I like the look of, can field in moderately sized units, and will add to the overall aesthetic of the army. I plan on leaving no stone left unturned in tracking down what I think will make you do a double take when looking at the army en masse. What's the overall structure of the army going to be? I would like to design the army around its two main strengths, that of its sturdy Chaos Dwarf foot troops and its powerful war machines. I see the foot soldiers supported by a multitude of slaves, in the form of goblins and mercenaries in the form of named orc units, such as Harboff's orc archers and Ruglud's armoured orcs. To put a number on these troops is a challenge. However, I think a solid block of 100 Chaos Dwarfs will be a decent anvil upon which their enemies could crash. The slaves and mercenaries, I think maybe 200 goblins and another 60 mutants and thugs, supported by about 40 or 50 orcs. The war machines, meanwhile, will consist of everything I can get my hands on, a real mix of cannons, pulled carts, battering rams, artillery and juggernauts. Basically everything a Chaos Dwarf Lord could ever need to reduce a fortress to rubble. With all this talk of collecting other manufacturers' miniatures and buying new stuff, is it still Oldhammer? Undoubtedly. Classic miniatures will be featured throughout, never fear. At its heart, Oldhammer is about evoking nostalgia when you look upon an army, and there will certainly be plenty of that flying around. At least, I hope so. How does this link with the Realms of Chaos Army? I'd like to feel the Chaos Dwarfs as a major offshoot to the overarching Chaos Army. There are 4 main pillars made up of Chaos Warriors, Demons, Beastmen, and Chaos Dwarfs, so this is really just another Building a Realms of Chaos Army series in disguise. Once complete, I think it really will be an army unlike any other, and I really hope that my documenting the building and painting of it helps any aspiring collectors and painters out there to either try something new or return to something old. After all, there is a world of possibility out there. It just takes a bit of inspiration and creativity to draw that sculpt out of the putty, make those ridges pop with an extra highlight, or finish basing that army that has been left on the shelf for a few months. How long is this series going to be? Loosely, I plan on making this series to the same length as the previous one, so 14 episodes, including this introduction, up to and including the summary and a finale Let's Watch, where I will premiere the full series all in one go and answer questions as we watch it live. To that end, I would like to end this introductory video there and open up the comments to you. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring the tallyman's bell so you can keep up with this huge project. Peace.